Yeah, sorry guys. Today there is a little bit of issue with I'm experiencing a power cut since 8:30 a.m. today. So it's supposed to come back around 4:30. So that's what electricity board notified earlier. So it is a scheduled power cut, but I still we didn't get the electricity. So we will continue. So um, so that is one of the reasons for starting a little bit late for today. Uh, what we have discussed last week is like I gave an introduction to the module, and then we discussed like why it is important to do the technical writing, right? And then we discussed the first assignment as well. Um, so here, for example, yeah, it seems like the electricity is back. Yeah, so that's good news. Um, there is a first assignment. If you guys go to the bottom of the course web page, you can find the first assignment where what you need to do is like you need to do a about a one-page Cornell note of a selected paper, right? Selected research paper downloaded from a given journal, right? So if you go to that assignment, you can see here, right? So this by clicking this journal, you can go and you can select any journal volumes and issues, and you can download any paper that you would like. So what you need to do is like you can read that paper and then try to create a Cornell note out of it, right? So it's not a big assignment; it's a small, I mean, assignment. Probably you can do it within a couple of hours, and maybe few hours, right? So if the paper is very long, so it will take some time, and then you can submit it by so we still have 7 days left, right? So by the next Tuesday you can submit it, right? Then from the lesson part, we have, uh, I think we have discussed up to these references, using references and quotations, right? So from there onwards, we will discuss about these things today, right? And if we finish early, we can start our second topic. So let's see how the things move ahead, and we will decide whether we go to the second topic or not. So the but anyway, since I am using this mobile like bandwidth, I think now I can shift to my other uh, my other uh, like Wi-Fi connection. So let me check whether my Wi-Fi connection is. It seems like up and running. It is not only helpful for you for this particular degree program, right? It is also going to help you for your uh, day-to-day life, right? As well as your um company work, right? So it is going to help you your academic, both your academic work and your professional work, because the concepts you are going to learn in this module will be really important. So we discuss like why people are doing this academic writing, and also what are the common types of academic writing. So we discuss about the notes, right? Notes are taking, I mean, after you are, when you are attending to a lecture, when you are reading some kind of article, right? Or if you are in a meeting, right? So you are taking notes. There are different note taking methods. So I briefed you about how to use Cornell notes last week. And also, last week we started discussing about this academic essays, right? Essay or essay writing. So this is very, very important because academic essays are the like kind of most one of the most essential type of academic writing work because when you know how to write an academic essay, then mastering the other academic documents, right? Writing academic documents becomes easy. For example, if you can write an academic essay properly, then what you can do is you can easily extend it to longer formats. For example, if you think about a report, project, dissertation, thesis, right? All of these extensions can be seen as extensions of academic essays. And also, if you think about the research paper, again, it is a type of an academic essay, right? So, some kind of extended versions of academic essays. So, I'm now shifting to my other screen as well, right? So I can have the Zoom session on the another screen. Right. So then the next one is reports. Reports is like when you have done a survey or experiment, we write reports. Projects usually when you carried out a project work, then you will write a project report. Dissertations and theses are the long versions of academic documents, right? So, for example, like when you based on the British definitions, dissertations are used for master's by coursework or undergraduate level research projects. You will after the research project you will do a dissertation um, and if you write yeah, can you guys hear me because I am receiving a message like something went wrong and rejoin the meeting. Is everything fine? Can somebody confirm? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Right. Thank you, Dinuka. So I'm not sure, like, because I received uh, this particular warning. Anyway, so we will continue. Uh, yeah. So dissertations and thesis, and if you think about the US system, it is the other way around, right? Thesis is meant to be submitted after undergraduate level or masters by coursework kind of research, and dissertations are done by people who are doing PhDs or MPhil degrees. And research papers are very interesting type, so that's where we do research publications. So usually people, after they are conducting a research, you write a research paper and publish it in a conference or a journal. But while you are doing your research, you can also um, do a research paper, right? For example, literature review paper or poster, right? Demo abstract, these kind of several types of research papers you can write. So we will discuss about this as well in this particular lecture series. So in later sessions, we will discuss about research writing and research paper publications as well. So we have discussed about the common text features. For example, you can see citations, abbreviations, italics usually used for things brought from other languages, and you can see brackets. So these are things that you take from that you can see in the academic documents. And uh, when you are writing these academic documents, usually you will also need to cite lots of sources, right? Or you need to add references. When you uh, when you write about these sources, right? When you add them as references, it is very important that you select proper sources, academic sources, right? So usually when you are doing academic writing or technical writing, we always love to see peer-reviewed sources, right? So peer-reviewed journal papers or conference papers is the preference. So therefore, you can when you are doing academic writing, always please try to identify good reputed journals and conference papers and then download. And also another thing is like you can see whether when you see particular reference work, you can see whether that is first thing is whether it is well related to your work, right? Well related to your document that you are writing. And the other one is you can also check whether it is published from a reputable website or reputable journal or conference, right? And the other one is whether it is written by a well-known person or expert in that particular field. And also you need to check whether the publication date, right? Publication date and the edition, because you don't want to read very early days of publication, like something published 20 years ago or 25, 30 years ago. Probably they do not have a good value, right? Because value means maybe they contains lots of outdated information. And the other one is like once you download it, you can read the abstract and decide whether it is a good paper, right? Um, and then so we discuss about like in different sections what you can expect, right? What you can expect, we have discussed. So for example, table of contents, you can see the structure. Introduction or preface, you will be able to get some understanding on a summary or what kind of thing that this particular document is about. Um, for example, if it is a research paper, it discusses about the research problem, right? Research problem and the proposed solution a little bit, right? Or at least you can get a sense of what kind of study is this. And the other one is like you can see the main matter, right? Main matter includes like main sections of the articles or your document. So main matter includes maybe uh, literature review, right? If you think about theses, so if you think about report, right? So it contains some kind of prior work, similar works, or literature review section. And then after that, we have a method chapter, right? Something, if you are doing a research, then there's a part called research methodology you will explain. If it is an implementation or software system, right? So you will have a implementation chapter, or you can have a system description kind of chapters you will have, right? And then if it is a data collection, if you are doing a data collection like a survey, then you will have a methodology that discusses about your data collection and analysis techniques. Then you will have a result chapter. Then you will have a discussion chapter, right? So these kind of chapters are there, and conclusion chapter, of course. In any academic text, usually you have this introduction, both introduction and conclusion, right? So those things, those sections or chapters goes into the main matter. And then after that, you will have the references. So all the citations that you have used, right, in the main text will be added as the full references, right, in the references list. And then some um, academic documents such as books contains an index, right? So index contains the alphabetical list of all topics mentioned in the book, the special topics mentioned in the book, and with the respective page numbers. So if you want to read about a particular concept, you can search it in the index, and then you can see that particular page, and you can go to the page and you can read those information. Right. And when we are doing this academic writing, we always try to use facts, but sometimes we use opinions as well. If you're using facts, it is better that you add some kind of citations as evidences, right? If you are taking internet sources, right, always you need to critically assess whether this is a good internet source or not, right? So we discuss about some kind of criteria, whether it is coming from a reputable website, whether the document is written by a good author, well-known author, whether the language is suitable in suitable academic style, right? Whether they contains any spelling mistakes, errors, etc. So these things you need to understand, and you need to assess whether that particular internet source uh, is a good resource or not. And even if it is a good resource, right, you can question it. So that's what we call it as critical thinking, right? So you need to be critical about what you read, right? So even if it is written by the most expert researcher in that particular field, right, or most highly rated person, right, in the country or in the field, right? So still you should be able to question what this person has said, right? Sometimes still there can be certain limitations, right, in their work, or sometimes you have counter arguments, right, because people thinks differently, and that is obvious, right? So it's not the best researcher in the field, right? What you are thinking can be very different from the best researcher in the world, right? And then maybe most probably your idea can be a good creative idea as well, right? So always, right? So if you think differently, you can question, right? So that critical thinking is an ability or a skill that we need to uh, improve, right? Um, so we finish our work somewhere here, right? And then we so today we will discuss about essay writing, how we can go through the essay writing, right? So the first one is you will sorry we I think we discussed these couple of topics as well. So the first one is I understand what is asked in your task, right, or assignment, right? So then we have discussed about, yes, we discussed about this as well. So we discuss about how to analyze, right, the wording used in your, let's say it can be a assignment, it can be an exam, it can be requested by your seniors, right? So you always need to understand these words, right, used in explaining that particular given task, right? So we discuss about these different words and what is their meaning, right? For example, if somebody asks you to illustrate, right, means it is giving the examples and discuss something, right? So like that, if somebody asks you to outline something, right? So it is like you provide a general high-level description, right? Or you come up with a plan showing the essential features of something, right? But it is not in a detailed manner, right? So detailed manner people will use maybe describe or discuss, right? So like that we discussed last week how we should analyze this wording and understand. So then we can provide exactly what uh, the person needs, right? So, and then the next one is like if you want to do the writing, right? So assume that your lecturer given you a topic and ask you to write an essay about it, right? So let's say um, your lecturer, one of your lecturers will ask, okay, write a 400,000 word essay on human factors in cybersecurity. Right? So in that case, how you can come up with a uh, good essay, right? So the first one is we need to think and come up with a good structure, right? So writing few thousands of words is not easy thing, right? So, but what we do is usually we use this divide and conquer method. So we divide our main task into several subtasks, right? And then each subtask, right? We plan how we solve that each particular subtask, right? So if it is an essay, we can think about the structure of this essay, right? And then we can divide it into several high-level sections. And each section you can decide, okay, this particular section, how many words I will use, right? And under this section, if there are any, is there are any other subsections, right, belongs to it. And in that case, how many subsections? And each subsection, how many words? Altogether, how many words I will use for this particular section, right? So like that, you can come up with the structure. But before coming up with the structure, you need to think about what are the related things uh, for this particular academic essay, right? So you need to do some kind of brainstorming in order to understand what kind of essay or what is the boundary of my essay, right? Or what kind of things that I should include. What are the things which are not related, right? So these things are very important. So you need to brainstorm first, and so basically what you do is like you will start thinking about this topic and write down any ideas which comes into your mind. And then after that, what we will do is like we will organize them into categories, right? So there can be different categories, different ideas can comes into the categories, into group into categories, right? Assume that we are thinking about human factors in cybersecurity. So the first thing is probably we will talk about um, so we should talk about the danger, right? So human, let's say we start brainstorming and then we find out some, we remember about some kind of reports, right? Which shows that 80% or 90% of the cybersecurity threats happens not because of the loopholes in the systems or not because of the misconfigurations in the systems or not because of the latest threats. It is because it comes because of the human side issues, right? So maybe people are not knowledgeable, right? Like that. So you can think about, okay, first thing comes into your mind is like it is the danger, right? And then you can think of maybe sometimes people are not aware. Sometimes, for example, these phishing emails, right? So some people works in our offices, right? Usually these software engineers, these guys are experts, so they know what to do and what not to do. But let's think about some kind of average person in an office, right? So let's say management, I mean office assistant, right, or management assistant. So these kind of um, people, right? So are not very familiar with the technology, right? So then easily uh, attacks can come, right? So like that, you can keep thinking on different things, right? So your brain in a very fast manner, it comes with dozens of different ideas, right? So what you can do is like you can write down all these ideas comes in, and maybe some ideas are not very related, right? But still you write them down, and then after your brainstorming session, you will think what are related and what are not related, and then after that you will put them into categories. Some things that you have seen may be related to the problem, some things are maybe related to the solutions that we can take for human factors in cybersecurity, improve the human factors in cybersecurity, right? The issues. So, like solutions, right? So these like that you can maybe you will come up with few different categories. So like that you can organize them into categories and you can create a very good flow, right? So planning a length of the essay is quite important. If from your essay, right? So usually 20% of the uh, space is taken for introduction and conclusion, and the other 80% goes for the main body, right? So the other 80% goes for the main body. So the important thing is, after you are brainstorming and come up with different categories, what you can do is you can prepare an outline, right? So an outline helps the writer to understand the question as effectively as possible, right? So the outline we can prepare a detailed outline. So if you provide more detail or make a more detailed outline, so then our writing will becomes easier, right? So probably in your school days, right? You remember that when you are writing the essays in the school, your teacher asked you to come up with the outline, right? So in Sinhala, we said that teacher asked us to come up with the come up with the outline, right? So we in Sinhala term we tell it as sakil, right? So we will come up with that outline, and then based on the outline, we have written one paragraph for each point, right? So that's how usually students are trained for GCE O level examination when they are sitting for this English or Sinhala, right, or Tamil, like their native language, right, exam. Right? So so when you prepare a good detailed outline, you can easily write. So it is same for this level as well, right? Even if you are doing it doesn't matter if you are writing a school essay or academic essay or fully scale thesis or dissertation, still, uh, still those things are the same, right? So preparing an outline is very beneficial because then you will not write some excessive contents for some parts, and some parts you will not write less amount of contents, right? So what you can do is you can prepare the outline and you can decide how many number of words I will write for this section, so you will not exceed that. uh, so in the early stages, what you can do is like you can prepare the outline for just the main body, and while you are reading the research papers, right? So because you need to include some um, research papers like references as references to prove what you wanted to say, right? So maybe you will discuss about something, and then as a fact you need to provide evidence. So in that case, you will cite some research papers. So in order to do that, you need to understand all of these papers that you read, right? Related to your research field or related to your study, right? Related to your work. So in that case, what you can do is like you will read the papers and create a small note, right? So this note making, it's not a proper academic document. For example, usually we write it in uh, point wise, right? So point wise, we will write this, and then, for example, Cornell note is one of the note making software, note making method. And these days, you can use note making softwares as well. For example, Evernote, right? So kind of softwares you can use as well, right? So uh, when you are doing academic writing, this is really important skill, right? So you must master this skill of paraphrasing. So how you can do this paraphrasing, right? So paraphrasing, uh, what we will discuss is we are going to discuss about finding the so we discuss about finding the key points and note making, right? So there are different note making software as well. So the go-to method is like you will use some kind of uh, like do it using point format, save your time, right? So this we discussed last week. So then the paraphrasing. So paraphrasing is most essential skill that you need to master, right? So why this is important skill? Because uh, otherwise, I mean, if you do not do a proper paraphrasing, then you can be caught on plagiarism, right? So in our writing, most of the times uh, we have to take many uh, like many things from many different articles, right?
Sir, we can't
So
see
if
the
you do
screen.
a direct copy paste, then you will be blamed for plagiarism. So what we can do, then what we can do as a solution is we can use paraphrasing. So what is
Sir,
paraphrasing? Paraphrasing means we write about uh, we write about another work, right, using our own words. So there is the simple uh, simple definition, right? So if you get one let's say article or something, and then you will write about that particular article using your
sir,
own
we cannot
words,
see the
right? So
screen.
that is paraphrasing. So paraphrasing means changing the wording of a text so that it is significantly different from the original source. When you are reading it, you know that it is it says the same thing, right? But it is total different form of writing without changing the meaning, right? So this is very important. So uh, so the meaning, right? So meaning is the same, right? So meaning is the same, but uh, the wording that you have used is totally different from the original version. Right. So effective paraphrasing is a key academic skill. Need to avoid the risk of plagiarism. It demonstrates your understanding of the source, right? So this is a key academic skill that you need to uh, practice, right? So by doing that, you can avoid the risk of plagiarism. So therefore, this is a essential skill to be mastered by all the students, right? So the elements of effective paraphrasing. So how we can do a effective paraphrasing. This is not only for academic works, even your professional life, right? You need to know that how to do a effective paraphrasing. So these days there is a, good chance that you can good technology that you can use is these LLMs, right? So these chat GPT kind of or any other alternatives you can use for paraphrasing. Basically, if you copy paste the text you want to paraphrase, and then if you can ask chat GPT, you give a prompt for paraphrasing and how detailed it should be, right? So then it can do both summarization and paraphrasing or expanding and paraphrasing, right? So anything that it can do, right? So and then after that you need to do a modification. Um, Similarly, what you can do is like you can if you are doing a manual paraphrasing, right? So you can think of these fundamentals. Even if you are using these machine translations, still it is better that you learn
Hello, sir.
about these techniques, right? So learn about these
Hello, sir.
techniques, and then you can make sure whether your machine translation is has done a good job, right? So the first one is it has a different structure to the original. It has a so paraphrase text should have a different structure to the original. The structure should be different. It has mainly different vocabulary, right? So the vocabulary should be different, but it retains the same meaning, right? So the meaning is not different. Different. It retains the same meaning, and it keeps some phrases from the original that are in common use, right? So sometimes certain phrases we cannot really replace it, right? For example, industrial revolution, right? So if you are using a different keyword, so then it becomes becomes not very meaningful, right? So it can be a problem. So these kind of things we can avoid. And you can see some examples, right? And how to do this paraphrasing. So the first one, you can see the change in the vocabulary, right? So basically, we can replace words or phrases by another set of words or phrases, usually using synonyms. So you can see that the word argue is
ඒ කියලා මම කාටද නැති සිස්ටම් එකට පේෂන්ට් දාන්නේ සත පහු වෙනවනේ කට්ටිය.
hello everyone, can you guys hear me?
අයිද මාස්ටර් හිට් එකේ වීඩියෝ සම්බන්ධ
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. We can hear you.
Right, thank you. Yeah, I know I can hear you better. Parindu, could you please make me the host? I think host is transferred to you. Sorry guys, I have disconnected again. Yeah, I will share my screen after that. Right, thank you, Tarindu. Right, now you can see my screen, right?
Yes, sir.
Right, right. Thank you, Takura. So, perfect. Right. So we were discussing the techniques for paraphrasing, um, and so the first one is like changing the vocabulary by using synonyms. Right. So for argues, you can use claims. Right. 18th century, 1700. So these are examples for paraphrasing. And we cannot paraphrase each and every word, right? Sometimes we have to use the words as it is. Some words do not have true synonyms. For example, demand, economy, energy. These kind of words we cannot find proper synonyms, right? And then change in the word class, right? So for example, like you can convert noun to a verb, right? Adjective to a verb, adjective to a noun, right? So like that, you can do certain modifications. For example, explanation can be become explained, right? Profitable can becomes profitability, right? This kind of change in the word class is possible. And another one is change in the word order, right? So changing the word order of the words in the sentence. So that is also another uh, method of paraphrasing, right? So but these days it is quite easy because we have these paraphrasing tools and most of the people are using it. But it's still, you need to fine tune it because your way of writing and then the machine writing is can be two different ones. And also like based on our culture, probably there are, based on our country, right? So probably there are ways that we write, right? So you need to, it's better that you make sure that you follow the proper methods. And the next one is summarizing. How we can do the summarization, right? So summarizing is also a key academic skill that you need as well as paraphrasing, because it is sometimes quite difficult, because sometimes like you need to write one paragraph that represents a complete thesis or complete research paper. So in that case, identifying what are the most important things that I should write, it is quite difficult, right? So you need to think of what exactly I should include, right? So in academic writing, it is a vital skill allowing the writer to condense the length sources into concise form. Summarizing is a flexible tool. You can use it. You can use it to give one sentence synopsis of an article sometimes. When you are writing a literature review, sometimes you will just use give a one sentence to represent a particular research work, right? Particular article. So how we can do this summarizing properly? I will just check whether the recording is on, right? So how we can do this summarizing properly? So what are the steps for summarizing? Uh, so write the first one is write the summary from your notes, reorganizing the structure if needed, and make notes of the key points, paraphrasing where possible, and read the original text carefully and check whether there are any new or difficult vocabulary. Mark the key points by underlining or highlighting. Check the summary to ensure that it is accurate and nothing important has been changed or lost. Right. So these are steps that you can follow for summarizations. And references and quotations, it is um, required to add references when you are presenting some facts, right? Or when you are referring to some persons, I mean, some other work, right? explain about something, showing, giving a fact, providing an evidence, right? When you are comparing two different works, right? So you need to use references, and sometimes you need to use quotations, right? For when you want to do quotings, right? When you want to quote another person's word or another person's speech, right? So these kind of things we use. And also sometimes you need to stop the reader for at some points, like therefore we can use this commas kind of things, right? Semicolons, colons, right? So we will discuss about this, all of this in this section. So academic writing depends on research and idea of others. So it is vital to show which source you have used in your work in an acceptable manner. There are three principal reasons, right? Three principal reasons for providing references and citations, right? So this is about referencing and citations, right? So quotations we will it comes coming in the later, right? Later section. So the first, let's talk about this referencing and citing, right? So when we need to add a reference, right? So I think all of you know what is the difference between a reference and citation, right? So references means like when you add this everything into this list of references, so those are called as reference items, right? So those reference items are referred or cited in your in the text, right? So in the main text, when you are describing about something, then in the main text you are adding a citation. In IEEE style, it can be a number. In if you are using Harvard, it is the last name of the author, comma, year, right? So that is called as a in-text citation because it is used in the main discussion, right? It is used in the text. So therefore, we call them as in-text citations. And then the other things that the main reference item that we added into the reference list are called as reference item. So, or references. So why we add in these references? The first one is to show that you have read some authorities on the subject. If if your project proposal, right, if your document has good number of references, uh, the reader thinks, okay, this guy has referred to many different works, so he has obviously he has read something about this particular field. That will added weight to your writing. So it is not a direct measure, but indirectly we measure, right? As examiners, we tend to measure and tend to look at how many number of references you have added into your writing, right? For example, if you are writing a thesis, right, or a dissertation, we would love to see like somebody added 100 about more than 100 references, right? So if it is a project proposal, probably we as examiners we would love to see like at least 20-30 references in your reference list. But of course they should be related, right? So sometimes we also check whether this guy has cited uh, related works, right? Related papers. I mean, sometimes there are students like just to fill up the number, they add very less related articles as well, right? So that is not the way it should be, right? So, but you will if you add related more and more related articles while discussing, right? So it shows that you have some authorities on the subject and it added for your writing, added weight for your writing, and also to allow the reader find the source, right? This is the for me this is the most important thing, right? um, because when you have a reference, if I am reading your article, I wanted to read more and get some understanding about what you have, written, right? Then I can maybe click on the link specified in the reference list, or I can search in the Google Scholar, or if it is a book, I can uh, search in the Google Books, right, or any other website. I can download that particular source and I can read, and then I can get more information about what you have referred. And the next one is avoid plagiarism, because by adding a citation, right, and a reference, you already show the world that this particular idea, right, or this particular fact doesn't belongs to you, right? It is not your own creation. It is not that you have come up with, right? Um, it belongs to another person, right? Yeah, and somebody else has done it, right? And then you are referring to, and you are giving the credit to that person. Let's say you come up with the fact, right? And you write there are about 200,000 deaf and hard hearing people in Sri Lanka, right? So it is not something that you come up with your survey, right? So it has come up with another person. You have referred to something else, right? So otherwise, how you know that particular number? So you add that particular report, right? Reference to that particular report. So if somebody is interested, that person can go to this report and read more details, right? And also it avoids the plagiarism, right? So you are not plagiarizing. So plagiarism is not one-to-one uh, matching, right? Even if you are writing about another person's idea, another person's view, right, which is already published, it is still need to be referenced, right? Because that particular person owns that particular idea. He has published it before, right? Right. So let's see like how we can do these citations and provide these citations and references. So here, this particular example, you can see how it can be done using Harvard referencing system, right? Harvard referencing style. So here you can see that reference item, right? So this is the reference, which shows Smith M, Power and Estate, right? And then this Macmillan, this shows the so that part shows uh, the publisher, right? So what are these different things says? Smith M. So that shows the writer's name, right? So that is the writer's name, and 2009 is the published year, right? 2009 is the year of publication, and then Power and the is how we reference under the APA or Harvard referencing style. This is how we can uh, add a reference item for a book, right? Add a reference item for a journal or conference paper, right, is slightly different. So in the for for a journal, we should add the journal name, volume number, and issue number, right? Pages, these things we need to add. If it is a conference proceedings, we need to add the conference name, right? And then again, the publisher, right? If it is technically sponsored by IEEE, publisher's name, and then we need to add the where it was held, right? Let's say it was held in, and then a particular city, right? City name, and then the dates, right? Conference dates, And also, if it is a journal or conference, sometimes we add the DOI number. It is a document identifier, right? Unique document identifier. So DOI also added. So these kind of things um, are added in a reference. And then what you can see here, right? So this is the in-text citation, right? So when you and it is actually used two places, right? This is also a citation. Here it says Smith 2009. So then it creates, right, that citation is referring to this particular reference item, right? So Smith 2009. So what is the meaning of this Smith 2009? Smith means the last name of the first author, right? Assume that there are two authors. So the first person is Smith M. The second person is, let's say, Elizabeth C, right? So in that case, what we should write here is Smith and Elizabeth, right? Smith and Elizabeth 2009, right? So we should present it like that. And then how this last citation is different, right? So how this is different. Here you can see Smith 2009 and there's a colon and 37, right? So what is the meaning of this 37? It says, right? So if you carefully look at this, right? So there is so it has provided a quotation, right? So it is showing the exact words, right? Exact set of words um, used by that particular person, right, in the book, right? So we can read this particular paragraph and try to understand this. Smith 2009 argues that the popularity of the sport utility vehicles, right, SUVs. So you can find the abbreviation SUV is definition, right, sport utility vehicles. So Smith 2009 argues that the popularity of the sport utility vehicles is irrational, as despite their high cost, most are never driven off-road, right? It is irrational. So that what he is claiming is SUVs are irrational because they use high cost for maintenance, right? But they never driven off-road, right? So we know that even in Sri Lanka, lots of people are using SUVs actually, even though the primary person of primary purpose of a SUV is to be able to ride both uh, off-road and the traditional roads, right? So most of the SUVs that we use never driven off-road. In his view, right now you are using the exact same words that person has said in his book, right? They are bad for road safety, the environment, and the road congestion, right? So when you compare to other cars, right, other vehicles, they are bad for road safety, the environment, and the road condition. So that is his view, right? So if you have a contradicting view, you can argue against it, right? As well, right? So that particular sentence that you have used, they are bad for road safety, the environment, and road condition. So that particular sentence, if a person wants to find it, they can find it in this book, third page 37, right? So that is the idea of it. And get a little bit interesting points where we can discuss. Let's assume that Smith has written two books, right? Two books in one in 2009 and one in 2000. right? So in that case, in the reference 9, and the state, the next book's name, right? Name of the other book. Smith 2009, in that when you are discussing about 2009 book, Smith 2010 when you are discussing about the other book. Now, that has written two books on books in 2000. In that case, what is near 2009, we had A and B, right? So you will have one reference and citation, which is called Smith 2009A, and there's another reference and citation that we create, Smith 2009B. So the one that above in the reference list is 2009B. When you have more than three authors in the in-text citation, for the in-text citation, then you will use Smith et al., right? Which means Smith and others. In the reference list, even if you have 3, 4, 5, or 6 authors, still you will use all the names. But if you have more than 6 authors in a reference list item, then you are using Smith et al., right? So the usual practice is if you have more than 6 authors in the for the reference item. But if you are doing the in-text citation, if you have more than 3 authors, you will use um, Smith et al. Right. So that is here what you can see is how to use it. Use the Harvard referencing style. So Harvard referencing style is the reference style most of the times that we are using um, inside UCSC, right? UCSC academic documents most of the times ask in the Harvard referencing style. For example, if you, I mean, in your degree program, you do not have uh, like project like thesis or dissertations, but for thesis and dissertations we use Harvard, right? So currently I am working as the Masters of Computer Science project coordinator and Masters of Computer Science project coordinator and Masters of Science in Computer Science degree program uh, project coordinator. So we are using Harvard referencing style. In 2009, 2020, I served as the independent study coordinator of cybersecurity program. Those days, like it was not a local student who did the program. It was done by uh, like foreign students, right? So your first batch, it was total like all the students are foreign students. So then for the local students, it has started quite recently. So when the foreign students are doing that, then you guys were supposed to write a portfolio in the independent study. So you will be given about 10 tasks, and then you need to write a portfolio, right? So you will do individual chapter submissions, and then you will do at the end you will do a portfolio. So in this particular lecture series, we will also discuss about how to do a portfolio as well. So in that particular portfolio, those days we were using Harvard referencing style. Right. Right. So when you are using these references, when you are referring to a particular work, right? When you are presenting another person's work, what kind of referring verbs that you can use? So here you can see when you are presenting a case, right? When you are presenting some kind of case, what kind of words you can use? For example, you can say like a particular uh, particular person, right, particular writer argues about something, or he claims something, right? Or some one researcher has considered something and hypothesize. So, what is the meaning of hypothesize? Hypothesize means like you are suggesting a solution, or you are believing, okay, this particular solution works for me, or this is the way that something happens, right? So that's a hypothesis. And then hypotheses are usually tested. So you can conduct an experiment and test it. Or you can do a data collection and data analysis and see whether your hypothesis is correct or incorrect, right? So that is the meaning of hypothesis. Later we will discuss a little bit about this research. If I have time, so I will conduct some research related lectures as well. So some small understanding we can get about hypothesis testing, and then these experiments, right? Experiment designs, surveys, these kind of things I will discuss. So there we will discuss about this hypothesis and the different ways that we come up with hypothesis and suggest, right? So suggesting some solution, believe, right? Think, state. When you are using this kind of verbs, right? This kind of verbs, you are referring to, you are coming up with usually some kind of references. So all of these things, all of these verbs, we are using when we are presenting a case, right? Sometimes we want to describe about reactions, right? Reaction to a previously stated thing, right? Stated position. We can say, like, you can say, um, one person argues that theory A is correct, right? Some concept A is correct. And then you can say, like, another researcher accepted, also accepted that viewpoint, right? Or you can say, like, another researcher deny that particular thing or doubt that particular thing, right? So these kind of words, what we are doing is we are reacting to a previously presented case, admitting, agree, right, deny, doubt, right, positive and negative reactions. The next one is some other purposes. We are using some referring verbs. So before we add the citations, or after adding a citation, we will use these kind of verbs. So what are those verbs? For example, assume, right? Conclude, discover, explain, imply, right? And indicate, maintain, presume, reveal, show. These kind of referring verbs we can use for different purposes, right? Uh, so these are common referring verbs. So let's talk a little bit about different reference systems that we can use, right? We have already discussed about this Harvard referencing system, right? Harvard referencing system. It is generally used for English language, business, illustration, business, right? And also in computing systems, computing programs, degree programs also use Harvard referencing system. Now most of computing faculties in Sri Lanka, computing degree programs in Sri Lanka prefer using Harvard referencing system, right? So most of the times, like when we were students, we were using either ACM or IEEE referencing system, but most Sri Lankan universities and UK universities prefer Harvard APA style, right? So APA is this uh, main referencing style in Harvard, right? So child level one, right? Find any difference, right? So if it is the Harvard, if you use the Harvard referencing style guidelines, so can seen as the APA. So then the widely used in medicine where you are using numbers in. Brackets, you can see the number 5, right? So that is right instead, but you are not using the square brackets, right? And another referencing style is footnote system, right? So also this is known as endnotes. So this is commonly used in books consecutively throughout the paper, right? So here you are describing something, for example, throughout Europe, right? And then you will add a citation, right? So this small number 3, superscript number 3 is used. And uh, then after this particular line, right? So this is where, like, after this line,
Hello, sir. Hello, sir.
hello Chamika.
Sir, still mic.
Yeah, what happened? I mean, how long I was muted?
15.
My gosh. So, Chamika, if that happens, please let me know before, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So I didn't notice it. I don't know how it was muted.
Yeah, screen also.
So
That's why we don't. Yeah.
screen, oh my gosh, the screen also goes off.
Yeah.
Right, right. Yeah, there is a yeah. So today there are full of issues. I mean, I again got the yeah, I again got the power back, right? So, Chandra, where did you hear me last time? Yeah, I mean, the record. Chamika, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Right. Chamika, can you see my screen?
Yeah, now okay.
Yeah. So, where did you hear me last? Like
Uh,
discussing introductions, conclusion, paragraphs?
Wait one minute.
Sir, sir, that Smith mentioned
Sorry?
Smith
Ah,
mentioned.
right, right, right. So, somewhere here, right? My gosh. Citations and references. Okay, so what
Yes,
we
yes.
do is, yeah, I'm really sorry about what happened. Yeah, anyway, yeah, so today I was using this Linux system, and then there was a power failure, and time to time when it happens, because I do not have the uh, Zoom installed here, so I'm using this browser version, and there is something wrong with this browser plugin sometimes, like especially when I get connected to the network, sometimes it is disconnected, and then all this sharing and everything goes away. So I'm not sure what happens, but yeah, there was a issue with my other laptop, the laptop that I usually use for lecturing. So what we will do is, like, we will wrap up the session for today, right? And then next week I will start from this referencing, right? Sorry about it. Sorry about what happened. So because now it is almost the time, so let's wrap up for today. And next week I will start from the referencing, right?
Okay.
Right. So then let's. Do you guys have anyone has any questions from what we have covered?
Not so far.
No, right? Yeah. I'm really sorry about the series of issues we had today, but next week it won't happen. So I will be using my other laptop. I'm going to receive it tomorrow. So yeah, so everything will be okay for the next one. Right. Okay, guys. So we will wrap up for today, and let's do. Uh, let's meet again next Tuesday evening, and we will discuss more on this academic writing, right? So thank you very much for your attendance, and then we will meet again next week. Have a nice week ahead, and we will meet again next Tuesday. Thank you and good night.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, you're welcome. Bye.